Well, welcome to our home again, Alpina and Onaway Healthy Connections friends and anyone else who may be joining us at any time watching this video. Again, I want to just put a date on this video. Today is March 26, and we are in the midst of our stay home, stay safe, stay healthy order here in Michigan. So the plans for this seminar have changed very quickly since we started planning this. We had initially planned to do this seminar with a group of 50 or less and then live streaming it for the rest who could not attend. That then changed to plans to continue to do the seminar and live stream the seminar with a skeleton crew to help us record it of 10 or less. And then as our pandemic and the situation here in the state of Michigan continued to evolve, it changed to just me and my husband here in our home putting on the seminar. So we appreciate you bearing with the challenges that we've had with the sudden unexpected changes and some of the technical difficulty that we've had. For those of you who were live streaming yesterday's seminar, we understand that there may have been some problems with it being jumpy and perhaps not the entire seminar streamed. We want you to know that we have uploaded an entire complete video of last evening's to YouTube with a link on the Facebook page, so you can find the whole seminar there. I do encourage you to go back and watch that seminar because all of the foundation for what we're going to do here today is set in that video. So all the background information about why we're doing the treatments the way we are is there. Handouts are available. There's 3 handouts that describe all of the treatments that we have shown in detail, along with the supplies that you need. I know it's hard to see something once and then go and replicate it, so we've got those available if you would like those. You can go to our Facebook page, Alpina Healthy Connections, and message us there with your email, and we will email these PDF files to you. Or if you're not on Facebook, then you can text us, and I'll give you the number here to text us with your email, and we will email them to you as well. The phone number to text is 269-767-2000. That's 269-767-2000. Well, as you can see, we are going to do powerful treatment here, powerful hydrotherapy. What we're going to demonstrate today is the powerhouse of hydrotherapy treatments for, specifically we're looking at today, viral disease, although there are other applications for this that you will find that are listed in the handout if you get them. But we're going to focus on treating viral diseases today. Before we get into the treatment, I want to talk a little bit about the Spanish flu pandemic of 1918 and 1919, considered the deadliest pandemic to date in recorded history. And 2 stories that I want to share with you that come out of that pandemic that I think are applicable to our situation right now with the COVID-19 pandemic. The city of Boston was especially hard hit with the Spanish flu pandemic in 1918. And the state guard set up an emergency hospital, and they had the patients housed in tents. Right now in our country, we're looking at temporary hospital situations. Well, that was their solution at the time. They had a bunch of tents set up, and the patients were housed in the tents. And in good weather, they would actually take the patients out in their beds outside of the tents and put them in the sun. They discovered that severely ill flu patients that were nursed outdoors recovered better than those that were treated indoors. And I want to just get my numbers right here. According to a report that was in the October 1918 Journal of Public Health, they discovered that being treated outdoors reduced the deaths among hospital patients from 40% to 13%. So we talked last evening about some of the benefits of fresh air and sunlight and time outdoors in nature, and this just confirms what we talked about. They discovered at that point in time that outdoor air and sunlight are natural disinfectants. That's probably why you've heard that they don't know of any transmission of COVID-19 outdoors to date. In 1918, they coined the term open air therapy. And it actually remained a very popular treatment technique until it was replaced by antibiotics in the 1950s. Open air therapy. Another story that comes out of the Spanish flu pandemic is from, I've got a copy here of a newspaper article from the Hutchinson, Minnesota Leader. And this was dated December 13 of 1918. And this is their the report. I'm just going to read the newspaper article to you. It says, the Leader, referring to the name of the newspaper, gives this compliment to the Hutchinson Seminary in its management and treatment of the influenza epidemic from which it recently suffered. On the authority of Dr. Fred Shepard, health officer of Hutchinson City, it may be stated that no public institution in the state of Minnesota has up to date made a record in handling influenza, the worldwide epidemic that has swept millions into their graves, like that, to the credit of the Hutchinson Seventh-day Adventist Seminary. The seminary, with 120 of its 180 students and teachers housed under one roof, was invaded by the malady 3 weeks ago. Symptoms of the malady developed in about 90 of these persons. So out of 120 that were living underneath one roof, 90 of them came down with symptoms, and under the direction of Dr. H.E. Larson, a graduate physician and a member of the seminary faculty, every person showing indication of sickness was at once put to bed with a trained nurse taking temperature and watching for symptoms of the epidemic. So here, the power of adequate rest. Their first line of defense was full rest once they had symptoms. If those symptoms developed, the patient was required to remain in bed. There were no drugs to be given, but with complete rest and quiet went a carefully regulated diet. And we talked last night about the importance of a healthy diet to boost the immune function and to prepare the body for healing. And in addition to that, in addition to the carefully regulated diet, and fomentations, that's what we're going to demonstrate to you today, fomentations applied to the throat, chest, and abdomen. This treatment in almost every case reduced the temperature of patients, and in a day or so they were apparently well. But that did not end the matter. So once their symptoms were gone, they still weren't allowed to get up and resume normal activity. The next danger was that of relapse. To guard against this every patient was required to remain in bed from 2 to 5 days after apparent full recovery, according to the state of their flu affliction. So continued rest following the apparent resolving of the symptoms in order to ensure that they did not relapse. And here's the outcome. Here's what they had. As a result of this system of handling a disease that is scoring thousands of victims every day, there has not been one case that could not have been called serious. Rather, there was not, let me try that again. There has not been one case that could have been called serious or a single death in the seminary, although there were more than 90 persons affected. So, 120 people under one roof, 90 of them caught the Spanish flu. None of them with this treatment had a serious case, and there were no deaths. And they conclude the article by saying, the record is remarkable. It makes the ordinary methods of dealing with flu appear irrational. We talked last night about the benefits of alternating hot and cold treatments. And like I said, this is the powerhouse of alternating hot and cold treatments. I'm going to show you how we set up the bed in preparation for doing this treatment. I'll show you the fomentation packs, and then we'll actually get our patient in the bed and get the treatment started, and I can continue to explain more as we do it. But just some of the precautions before we do that. If there's any loss of sensation, you want to be extremely careful not to burn. Use extra padding between the heat and the patient, and use warm water on the feet rather than very hot water. You want to be careful with very, very young children and the very elderly. This is a difficult treatment for them to tolerate because of the extremes in temperature. So with them, you'll probably want to use the hot foot bath that we showed you last evening. With diabetics, you just want to skip the hot foot bath. Don't apply the heat to the feet and the legs for a diabetic. You want to make sure that you're not doing this treatment over any area with cancer. And again, the hot foot bath may be a better option for those with cardiac problems as well, especially significant cardiac problems. This would be something that you would have to run past your physician in that kind of case. All right, so that's the precautions. Let me show you fomentation packs. What a fomentation is, it's really a steam pack. We're going to use steam in order to transmit heat to our patient. And I use these fomentation packs. They're just flannel sheets, old flannel sheets, cut up and sewn together. I think I counted once. There's probably maybe about 8 layers of flannel on each pack, and I double them up. Okay, so these are homemade fomentation packs. I understand that there are some commercially made ones that are for sale some places on the internet. I don't know where to find them. You'd have to do it yourself. And because a lot of people have been doing teaching about this, they may be hard to find online as well right now. But never fear, you can use things that you already have in your home. I found that this smaller size bath towel works well, folded into fourths in this direction. All right, and to use this, what we're going to do, we want it to be wet. So we're going to take our fomentation pack, whatever we're using for it, and usually I put 3 of them, at least 3 of them to heat at a time, depending on how many repetitions I'm going to do. But we want to roll our pack up like this. We want to put it underneath the tap, let the water run through it, through the middle and on the outside until we get it completely saturated. And then we want to just twist it so it's not dripping, soaking wet, but we still want it to stay quite moist. And then this can be placed in the microwave to heat. There are 3 different methods that you can use to heat these steam packs. The microwave obviously is the easiest. Some people put it in a plastic bag before they put it in the microwave because there is a danger if this dries out in the microwave that it could start on fire. But I leave my packs moist enough. I've never had a problem with them drying out, but a plastic bag is an option. The other things that you can do is you can take these rolled wet packs and you can put them on a rack like in a canner and steam them. So you would have them sitting on the rack above the water, the boiling water below them, and then you would just need to use some tongs to take them out of the steam pack when you were going to use them. The third method for heating these is to roll them the long way and then start out with it already twisted. You would have a pot of boiling water. You would hold the 2 ends and you would dip it down into the boiling water, the hot water, lift it out and keeping the ends dry so that you can hold it, and then twist it to continue wringing it out, and then place it onto your cover. Okay? So let me show you how to wrap them in a cover. For my covers, I just use a large bath towel. I put my steam packs, my fomentations on the cover. Then I fold it over from each side and then fold over the ends. Okay, so I've got lots of layers here on the top and only a single layer on the bottom. Remember, this pack's going to be hot. It's going to be a steamy pack inside. So I'm going to put the single layer side against my patient's chest. These layers here will keep the heat from escaping out away from the patient and instead direct more of the heat down towards the patient. Of course, we always have to have dry towel padding between the steam pack and the patient in order to avoid burning them. All right, so I've got my steam packs hot and ready to go. So we're going to go ahead, I believe at this time, and get our patient on the table. Oh, let me show you how we set up the table first. Okay, so when you do this, you're probably going to be doing it on a bed, so you're going to want something waterproof on your bed, whether it's a waterproof mattress pad or whether you lay down a shower curtain, a sheet of plastic, or even a vinyl tablecloth underneath your sheet so that you don't get your bed wet. We're going to be dealing with water here and you don't want to get your bed wet. In my situation here, because I have it on a massage table, we're going to have a hot foot bath down here, so I put a waterproof pad just because I sometimes spill water. And then I've got a towel over top of it because when we finish our hot foot bath, I'm going to want to have a towel here to be able to dry our patient's feet. All right, I already have a steam pack underneath here. Instead of using one of my microwave steam packs for underneath the back, I'm using my Thermofor steam pack. But you can, if I did not have the Thermofor, I would go ahead and use a regular steam pack heated up in the microwave, the steamer, or in the boiling water. Always want to have layers of dry towels over top of the steam pack. For the one on the back, you're going to make sure you have at least 2 layers of nice thick toweling, maybe more. Bony areas tend to get hot, and you always want to make sure you have extra towels on hand to add in case your patient gets too hot. So here's the challenges of only 2 of us in the house doing this seminar. So we're about to lose our cameraman, and the cameraman's going to become the patient. So whatever the camera's set at right now, that's what we're stuck for the rest of this demonstration. So we're going to have our patient come and lay down on the bed. Okay. We're going to cover him with our sheet. I like to use flannel just because I think it's a little bit more absorbent. And we do want a bare chest in order to do this treatment. Okay. And then we are going to go ahead and get him set up with our hot foot bath. So let me get the covers back first. Okay, so we've got hot water in here. Temperature okay?
Yep.
Okay. All right, we're going to go ahead and get our first steam pack on. So I'm getting it from my microwave with the tongs here. Use the tongs to spread it out. Get it wrapped up the way that I showed you, in from each side. And then we need our layers of dry towel between him and the steam pack. So we are going to lay a towel there. Put our steam pack on top. And then we want to cover that all with a blanket to be able to hold our heat in. Okay, and my patient, I've got an educated patient here, so he already knows what he needs to warn me of here so that I don't burn him. But you're going to want to tell your patient that you want the steam packs and the foot bath to be hot but not burning. And they need to let you know so that you don't burn them. Okay. Are you comfortable? You set there? Okay. Sure. All right. So I, again, like we did last night, when I do one of these treatments with someone, I want to ask the great physician's participation because he is the one that does the healing. And so I'm going to pray. Heavenly Father, I want to thank you that you gave us the gifts of water and that they can work so powerfully for healing. And so today I ask that you bless Mike as we do this treatment. I pray that you will use it to benefit him, to help in healing and maximize his health and his resistance to disease. I pray that it's in Jesus' name. Amen. All right, so we are going to leave each of the steam packs on for 3 to 5 minutes. And because we're going to alternate it with cold, I have found that our patients tolerate it better if we leave it on for the full 5 minutes. For demonstration purposes today, we probably won't leave all of them on for the full 5 minutes. In between each of the 3 to 5 minutes, we're going to alternate it with cold, and we'll show you how to do that. You want to make sure that your patient stays well hydrated during the treatment, so I have water here to offer him. I have an ice bucket here so that I not only can apply the cold, but that I can also keep his head cool. Now, he's not heated up yet. We just started. But once he does start getting warm, we want to apply a cold cloth to the head in order to keep the head cool. Now, the treatments that we showed you last night are treatments that can be used to either treat disease or to prevent disease. This particular treatment, fomentations, is probably a little time and energy and supply heavy to use as a preventative measure, although it would be a preventative measure. But probably if you're not sick, the contrast showers that we talked about last night is a better option. But this, once someone does become sick, this is a powerhouse. This is where we get a lot of benefit. All right, so I want to keep his foot bath hot. Can you tolerate more heat on the feet? Okay, so I need to get hot water for his feet. So I'll be off camera here while I'm getting hot water to add to the foot bath. All right, so I have my pitcher of hot water. When I go to uncover his feet to fill the hot foot bath, I want to be careful that I pull the sheet and the blanket towards me as I lift it, because it's so easy to allow this part to dip down into the water and get your sheet wet. All right, same technique that we showed you last night. He's going to spread his feet as far as he can apart in the basin so that I have room to pour the water between his feet. It is going to hit my hand before it touches his feet. So I'm going to pour in a little bit at a time. and stir it around. As we keep adding water, at some point in time we're going to have to take some out as well throughout the treatment. How are we doing?
Good.
Is that enough? Or can you take more?
Take a little more.
Okay, yep, I've got more here. Yep.
Thanks for doing it, guys.
Yep. So we've got a foot bath, a steam pack on his chest, and a steam pack on his back, heating him up. And then we're going to go ahead and do the cold. So when we're doing the cold, I'll show you two different methods that you can do the cold. The first one we're going to do is with a washcloth. So I'm just going to flip the steam pack off of him here. I have a mitt here, which is just a washcloth sewn up into a mitt out of my ice water. And I'm going to go ahead, pull back my cover, and do them. And it's cold, especially the first time. Flip my mitt around to get back to the other side that's a little bit colder, and do it again. I want to get somewhere between 15 and 30 seconds of cold. And then I'm going to replace the steam pack just until I can get another steam pack made up and exchange it. So I'm going to go back to my microwave. Have a new fomentation cover. Another steam pack out of my microwave. Wrap it up in the cover. Exchange it for a warmer one. And cover them back up to keep the heat in. Okay, and I'm going to leave this cover because I'm going to need it for my third pack. And I am going to go ahead and run the microwave because I do need that next steam pack a little bit warmer. Okay, so what are we trying to accomplish with this treatment? A number of things. We talked about this last night as well. We're trying to elevate the body temperature. The body naturally elevates its own temperature when we have illness because the body can function, the immune system functions better, is more effective, fights off disease better as the body temperature is elevated. The other thing that's happening is when we do the alternating hot and cold, we get a tremendous amount of physiological benefit. We get an improvement in the white blood cells that are in the bloodstream and circulation. We talked last night up to 200 to 300% more white blood cells, which carry the oxygen throughout the body that's needed so much for healing, are increased by 25 to 35%. So it primes all of the body's systems for healing. It improves circulation. A lot of viruses have an upper respiratory component, and so this is bringing increased circulation into the chest and the throat area, right where we need the healing and from the virus. So this is a very powerful treatment for a viral infection of any kind. All right, are you getting warm yet?
Not too bad.
Okay.
Need some padding in my bottom.
Okay, so he's telling me where he's getting a hot spot. So I always have extra towels available. And he's getting a hot spot from the fomentation underneath him. So what I will have him do is I'm going to have him just lift up his hips. I'm going to slide some additional layers of dry toweling underneath him so that we don't get a burn. Okay? More heat on your feet?
Yes.
Okay. Okay, so you can see that it works better to set your treatment up someplace that's close to a source of water and close to where you can heat your steam packs. So I like to do it in one of the rooms that's adjacent to my kitchen when we do this treatment. You want to make sure that you're communicating with your patient throughout the treatment so that they know what to expect and so that they're letting you know what's going on with them so they don't get any burns. Also want to share with you what I shared with you last night about the CDC's current recommendations for people at home with COVID-19. They are currently recommending that an individual with COVID-19 be quarantined in a separate house or a separate room within the house. He says that's good. I'm going to take a little bit water out because next time I go to add hot water, I'm not going to be able to fit more in. Okay, so the CDC's recommendations are that an individual with COVID-19 be quarantined in a separate room and use a separate bathroom within a house and not be in face-to-face interaction with other members of the household. So I do need you to understand that this particular treatment, because it involves being close and having contact, does not meet the CDC's recommendation in a household right now. What they would say is that we would need to be masked if we were to be doing this treatment. This is a powerful treatment. I think that there's lots of benefits for individuals who have COVID-19 because of what we understand from how powerful this treatment has been in other kind of flu and viral epidemics. So take that into account as you choose whether to do this treatment. We are going to show you at the end, give you some ideas of how you can do a similar treatment yourself as well. All right, so we are going to do another round of cold. And this time, I'm going to show you how to do it with a hand towel. So we're going to get our hand towel wet in our ice water. Going to wring it out so it's not dripping. And this does, because it's a larger area, it does give more cold than just the washcloth mitt. So I have to tell you, my patient doesn't particularly care for this method as much as he likes the other one. So I'm going to go ahead and pull off the dry towel, pull the wet towel over top of it, and that's cold. He's not giving you much of a reaction, but that is cold. Okay? And then with it laying over the chest, we're going to just go ahead and give him friction rub here. It does cause you to breathe deeply. Okay? And then we're going to replace this towel back with the dry towel. Place our steam pack back on while we make a new hot one. These steam packs are very hot. You need to be careful not to burn yourself or your patient. Okay, you can see that this is a labor of love when you do this for your family. It does keep you quite busy throughout the whole treatment. There's always something to be doing for your patient. But it also helps with some of that connectedness between family that we talked about as well. All right, so he's had the heat on for long enough that he should be heating up by now, so we're going to go ahead and start cooling off his head. The warmer he gets, the more frequently we're going to need to change these washcloths, so I have several of them in my ice water bucket. So we're going to put that on the head, and it's cold. The warmer he gets, the better it'll feel. The first time it's put on, it's quite chilly. And what we can do is, as he warms that up, we can actually take it and flip it over, because it'll be colder on the other side, or completely change it out. All right, so how many times do we do this? You want to do this for at least 3 cycles. That would be the minimum. They have found that the greatest physiological benefit happens in the first 3, with a little bit of increased benefit with the 4th one, and then tapering off after that. We have found, when we do this in our family, that we like at least 5 cycles. We're going to demonstrate 3 cycles for you, but we like doing it 5 cycles because we feel more warmed up, and it becomes more comfortable the warmer you are. Okay? The cold isn't quite as startling when you're warmer, and so we find that we're just able to get our patients warmed up better if we keep going for 5 cycles. But this is our 3rd cycle that we have going right now. So I'm going to make sure that my patient is well hydrated. So I'm going to offer him some water to drink, with a straw in the cup. Okay. I'm going to make sure that the cloth on his head stays cool. I'm going to change that out, and he probably can take, I'm guessing, some more hot water on his feet.
Probably.
Okay. So that's changed out. And we're going to get hot water for the feet. This is a treatment that we have been doing in our home since our children were about elementary school age, I guess it must have been. And we would oftentimes do this as a family. Somebody else would help do the running between the microwave, getting more hot water. Generally, when I do a seminar, I've got another person helping with the demonstration so they can do the running. Because of our pandemic, we're on our own here today. But this is what it really looks like in an unedited video, in an unedited situation. This is what the running that I do when I do this treatment for my husband in real life. How are we doing on the heat?
Good.
Keep going?
Yeah.
Okay. His feet are nice and pink. So we're increasing circulation throughout the body. Okay, so when we end the treatment, we're going to end with cold everywhere that we have had heat. So he says, well, I've got enough heat. I know I've got to add some cold water at the end, so I'm going to take a little bit out so we don't overflow when we end the treatment. It's steamy underneath the covers here, which is what we want. We want that elevated body temperature, and we want the alternating hot and cold. Okay, back to change. When you have a cold or flu-like symptoms and this is done to you, it actually feels really good. You can actually feel the benefits. Oftentimes you'll feel the congestion in the chest loosening up. Oftentimes you'll feel the sinuses draining, the stuffiness going. So that may stimulate some coughing. It may stimulate them needing to blow their nose because it's helping to clear some things up as we're bringing blood flow, healing blood flow into the area that is suffering. Keep him cool. Okay, and then we're ready to end the treatment. So we're doing 3 cycles of hot followed by cold on the chest. So 3 to 5 minutes of hot with the steam packs, the fomentations, and then approximately 30 seconds of cold to the chest. Now, as we finish up the treatment, we are going to apply cold to every area that had heat on it. So we're going to start with the chest. So I'm going to go back and use the mitt this time again, just because I don't have him really, really warm, and this will be more comfortable for him. Like I said, when we do it at home, we usually do 5 repetitions, which means we're putting some of the packs, as we take them off, we're putting them back into the microwave and rotating which ones we take out. All right, so we're going to go ahead and do cold friction to the chest here. Okay, and he's pink on the chest. Okay, and this time I'm not going to lay the steam pack back down, but I'm going to pat the chest here to get it dried off. We don't want our patient to get chilled after we're done with the heat, okay? Because getting the patient chilled is actually detrimental to what we're trying to accomplish. Okay, the next area that we're going to finish with cold is our foot bath. So I'm going to ask him to keep his feet in the foot bath until I'm ready. But I'm going to go ahead and slide the foot bath off to the side. So we're going over towards the wall. Okay. So off to the side so he has room to put his feet after we're done. I'm going to take my bucket of ice water, but I don't want to use all of the ice water here because I still need a little bit of my ice water to be able to do cold to his back. So he's going to go ahead and lift his feet out of the basin, toes pointed up so that I can get both the tops and the bottoms. And ooh, that's cold. You see there's ice cubes even coming out of there. Tops and bottoms of his feet, and then over onto the towel. And again, we don't want him getting chilled. We want to dry that off. So I'm going to take my basin with my hot foot bath out of the way. Get his feet dried here. Okay, you can bring him back over to the middle. Good. Covered back up. And now we have one more spot, which will be his back. So we're going to come back and get our mitt. Okay, he's going to roll, so I'm going to take it off, the cloth off of his head. Okay, I'm going to have you roll away from me. Yep. Okay, and then I'm just going to, on his back, I'm going to go ahead and rub with the mitt. And he is quite pink back here, so I know we've accomplished our purposes. Okay, and then I want to dry him off on the back as well. We don't want to leave him wet so that he can get chilled. Okay, you can roll back over. Okay, and then you want your patient to rest for 30 to 60 minutes afterwards. That time period of rest is when the body does a lot of its powerful work, where it's increasing those blood cells and priming the body to heal. A lot of the healing work happens during that rest period following a treatment. Okay, so we are going to let our patient here in a second. Just a second, I'll help you with that. Get up. And what they want to do is they want to go and get dry themselves off well and get dry clothing on. Okay?
On the side.
Okay. All right. Okay, and I'm so used to doing live seminars that my first instinct is to ask you, are there any questions? If you do have questions, send us a message or on Facebook Messenger, and we'll do our best to get back to you with an answer. All right, so we said that the CDC recommendations are quarantine within the house for anyone with COVID-19. So what if someone can't give you a treatment? Can you do something like this by yourself? Well, this is the method that we came up with, and I'll tell you the story of how we came up with this method. There was one time when our kids were elementary school age, and like I said, kids get sick, and so frequently we would treat our kids using this method. Well, there was one time when all 4 of us got sick, came down with something. And so my husband and I worked together. We treated the sickest child first, sent them to bed. Treated child number 2, sent them to bed. I treated my husband using this, sent him to bed. then there was me left. And so I problem solved and came up with a method where I could do something similar on my own. So what I did was I filled up a bathtub with hot water. And when you're in a bathtub with hot water, you can continue to add hot water in order to maintain the heat. I took with me a basin of ice water. I filled this up with water with ice floating in it. And in it I had several washcloths and a hand towel in the water. And I placed that on the floor beside the tub. So when you're laying down in the tub, you can lay down and recline with your chest underwater, your knees bent up, and your feet in the water. So you can see if you were doing that, you would have heat on your back, like we had here, heat on the chest, and heat on the feet. So I would lay there for 3 to 5 minutes at a time. Of course, in a hot tub, you get warm really quickly and start perspiring. So I had the basin of ice water beside me so I could wring out a washcloth, put it on my head to keep me cool, and keep exchanging them in order to keep me cool. Okay, when my 3 to 5 minutes had passed, I would sit up in the tub, and then I could take either the washcloth or the cold hand towel and do a rub down. Oh, got that on the microphone. Do a rub down of the chest for 30 seconds. And in fact, because everything else had been under the warm water as well, you could rub down any part of your body that you can reach easily that had been in the warmth. Okay? Then lay back down 3 to 5 minutes, keeping my head cool the entire time. Then sit up. And again, either with a hand towel or with a washcloth, do a cold rub down. And do your 3 or more cycles of that. Then, to finish the treatment, I actually stood up with my towel out of the ice water, rubbed everywhere down. Okay, I'm still standing in the tub, so my feet are still in the hot water. And then, as I stepped out of the tub, I stepped into the ice water and then stepped out onto a towel or a rug and then dried off the rest of the way. Dried off briskly, put on dry clothes, and went to bed myself. So that's a way that you can do this same kind of treatment on your own. Friends, as I said when we were talking together last night in our seminar last night, there is so much that we can do to increase the function of our immune system, to prepare for probable exposure to the novel coronavirus. And there is so much that we can do on our own using the treatments that we showed last night and this very powerful fomentation treatment, whether we do it to a family member or whether we do it ourselves in the tub to treat disease if we do get it. Friends, I want to encourage you. We have a God who has provided lots of gifts for us. Use them for your health and for your healing. And let's continue to pray for our country, for our world, for our community as we continue to go through this pandemic. I want to pray for you one more time. Heavenly Father, our friends that are watching, Lord, we just ask that you be with them. Lord, I pray that you give them protection, that you give them peace. And Lord, I pray that you give them purpose as well, as many of them, their lives are disrupted right now. Lord, I pray that you meet their needs, their financial needs, if that's been, they've had interruptions to that part of their life. Lord, I pray that you'll bless their family as they're interacting in their home in a different way than they have before as they're all at home. And Lord, I just pray that you will lead them, that you will guide them. And Lord, I pray that you will be with the leaders of our communities, our state, our nation, as they make decisions as well. Lord, I pray that you will bring us through this and that when we come out the other side, we will know that you have been the one that has sustained us. Help us to trust in you. I pray this in Jesus' name. Amen.